So if you're a personal trainer that doesn't particularly want to rely upon social media for attracting your clients in, or maybe you don't even like social media and you're looking for an alternative, well, in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how you can position yourself as the go-to expert in your local gym or indeed your local community. How? By doing live presentations where you have people sat in front of you. Now, if you've got no intention whatsoever of doing presentations in a live format, then please click away from this video. This is not for you. If on the other hand you are open to the possibility of doing this type of thing to attract clients into your business very, very quickly, and quality clients as well, then stay tuned in, make some notes, and by all means leave your comments below. So I'm going to break it down into 5 simple steps. Step number 1 is what I call your TA with a BP. So in order to do an effective live presentation where you can potentially convert some of those people attending your presentation into paying clients, there need to be an ideal target audience with a big pain point. So in my case, I work with busy professional women over the age of 40 looking to lose anywhere between 30 and 50 pounds plus. So once you've established who these people are, you can then move to the next step, which is your presentation topic title. So you need to come up with something that you believe this target audience with that big pain point are going to be interested enough to actually take some time out of their busy schedules to turn up and listen to you present. Now, in my case, one of my favorite topic titles was Women, Weight Training and Weight Loss, How to Lose More Doing Less. And by all means, pinch that title if you want to. But the title needs to be one that's clear, one that provides some sort of a benefit, so when people read it they think, yep, that's for me, and I can see a clear benefit to attending that particular talk. The third step then, we're going to go into a bit more detail now, and this is your structure of how you are going to deliver your presentation. So all this is proprietary work. So the structure of how you're going to present your actual topic. Now, a big mistake I see a lot of presenters making, not just personal trainers but people in general, is they start off by talking about themselves, their qualifications, their experience, maybe some client case studies, and to be quite honest with you, the people who are attending don't really care that much about you. I know it sounds a bit rough, but they really don't. They're there because they believe that you are going to deliver something to them that's of educational value, that's either going to give them a quick win, a mindset shift, or just basically give them additional knowledge that they didn't have before, maybe dispel some myths. So you need to get to that as quickly as you possibly can. So let me go through a typical sort of structure that I would recommend you use. So I'm going to flip in between presenter mode, and I'm also going to pause and tell you when I'm presenting. I'll explain why I've said a certain thing. So it might seem a bit weird me talking to you as if you are my audience, but I'm just trying to give you an example. So here's how I would start off my presentation as an example. Hey, good evening, glad to have you all here this evening. My name is Eric Simpson, personal trainer. I've been for over 10 years. Looking forward to delivering this presentation tonight, Women, Weight Loss and Weight Training, How to Do More and Get Less. But before I dive into the topic, what I'd like to do is just find out a little bit about maybe some of the questions you've come here this evening with that you'd like answering. Right. So that's how you open it up. Now, why do you do it that way, and why do I recommend you do it that way? Well, first of all, if you are a slightly nervous presenter, what that immediately does, it takes the spotlight off of you and it shines a spotlight onto the audience. So if you are a bit nervous, it's a chance for you to breathe in, breathe out, and chill out a little bit. But it also allows them an opportunity to start asking questions that may be on their mind as to why they've turned up. So a classic one would be, Eric, is it true that if women do weight training, they're going to become big and muscular? And all you're going to do is just write these questions down on a piece of paper, or if you've got a whiteboard, write them up on the whiteboard. Now, why is this important to do? Another reason it's important to do it is because those questions are being asked of the audience. Hopefully what you can do is weave in the answers to those questions during your presentation, and hopefully your presentation covers those particular points that are being asked. And what that will do is when you get to, let's say, you're going to talk about the myth of women not becoming big and muscular when they do weight training, and Sally's asked that question, instead of you just saying, right, when you do weight training as a woman, you're not going to become big and muscular, you might say something like, oh, by the way, this myth about women becoming big and muscular. I think, Sally, you asked that question, and then you deliver the answer and the information. And what you're doing there is you are now including a member of the audience into your presentation. So it takes on a little bit more life. It's not just you presenting facts, you're now relating it to somebody in the audience. So get the questions up front. So let's just quickly recap. Short introduction, flip it around, ask what questions they have, get those questions written down. Then you're going to go into the next part of your opening gambit in terms of your presentation before you go into the detail. So you've got the questions, I'll go back into presenter mode. Thank you for those questions. So this evening I'm going to be presenting A, B, C. So you tell them what you're going to be presenting, maybe 3 bullet points, it may be 5 bullet points, whatever it is, you tell them what you're going to be presenting. That will allow them to see where you are going with your presentation. So you're not just stood there just chatting away. I've said to you there's going to be 5 points here, for example, so you know, watching me now, that there's another 2 points to go. So give people an idea of where you're going with your presentation. Here's another key bit you want to add into this. So I'm going to be covering A, B, C, D, E, F. Also, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to explain to you how, if you are interested, how we could potentially work together and what that might look like going forwards. Now, why is it important to mention this as part of your opening before you start the presentation and as part of the agenda? It's important for this reason. If you go through your 5 bullet points or whatever bullet points you've got and you present that, what's going to happen is you'll get to the end of that, presentation's finished, they know it's finished, and then suddenly you've got to flip from being the educator, and then you've got to flip it and become the salesperson. And you'll feel that internally, you'll feel that pressure when you go from presenting to, oh yeah, now if you want to work with me. Whereas if you've told them you're going to go into that at the end, then it's perfectly natural, you remain in educational mode. So the presentation may end something like this. That's the final point to do with muscle building. And as I said earlier, if you're interested in finding out how you can work with me, that process is very simple. All you need to do is basically would set up an initial phone call, we'll have a conversation, I'd find out a bit of detail about you, blah, 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 blah. If that went well, we'd then set up a second call. So you give them some sort of idea of what your process might look like. And that's it. And then you end the presentation on that note. Now, you may be thinking, well, hang on, Eric, shouldn't I be ending my presentation by saying, are there any questions? Well, let's just go back to how you started this whole presentation. You asked for the questions up front, and you did that for, I said, one reason was so that you could answer questions within your presentation to bring it to life a little bit more. But the other important reason for doing it that way is this one. When you take the questions up front, it means you can answer them all and you can finish on your terms. If you then open up for additional questions at the end of your presentation, then what can happen is all that emotional energy that you've built up, and that's one of the reasons for doing a presentation, not just to deliver information, but also to get people feeling a bit emotional, because when people feel emotional, that's when they're more than likely going to take the next step, which for you is going to be for them to book in for some sort of a consultation. If you now open that up and people start asking questions that are totally irrelevant or just boring questions, what you'll end up doing is sucking the energy out of the room, and you could be stood there speaking for quite literally 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and you've got people sat in the audience that really want to get away, but they won't leave because, you know, they'll feel embarrassed to get up and walk out in the middle of a presentation. So you end the presentation and your final words might be something like this. If you do have any questions at all, I'm going to be around for another 5-10 minutes. Feel free to come up and ask me any questions you have. Thank you for your time this evening. Presentation's finished. So just to quickly recap the structure, if I can remember it in my head quickly. Short introduction as to who you are. Flip it, get the questions from them about why they're there this evening. Go through your agenda points, and also make a point of saying you'll let them know how they can potentially work with you in the future. That's how you're going to set it up. And then I've just gone through the whole structure there. So that's all those points covered. Let's go into point number 4, which is how you're going to go about marketing this. Now, to market your presentation, I would give yourself at least 3 to 4 weeks in terms of time frame to get the word out there so that people know about it. And the way that I used to do it and the way that you can do it if you are in a gym facility, and I'll speak about it if you're not in a gym, but if you're in a gym facility, it can be as simple as producing some flyers, putting them on notice boards, putting them in the toilet. You can put some on reception, you can speak to the reception staff. I used to do that, tell them what the presentation is about so they could talk about it on reception. And if they allow you, maybe put some flyers or little cards on pieces of equipment, and basically just say what the topic title is, the date and the time. Something as simple as that. So that's what you can do if you are in a facility like a commercial gym. If you're not in a commercial gym and you are maybe freelancing, going to people's houses, or you've got your own studio, and I had both of those situations, what you might end up doing is what we call a JV, which is short for a joint venture, and that's where you connect with other local health and wellbeing practitioners that have got complementary services to your personal training service, and you simply say to them, look, I've got a presentation I'm running, here's a topic title, is this something you think your clients, your database of people might be interested in listening to? If they say yes, what I used to do was then create the emails, do all the work for them, and just get them to top and tail it. So they'd introduce it, they would send out the body copy of the email that I'd pre-written, and they would sign it off, and that could go out to their database. And that worked incredibly well for me. I used it with one of my local podiatrists and also a local osteopath as well. So it's a really good way of getting your name out there at no cost to you. Now, in terms of any sort of remuneration between the two of you, it might be that the health and wellbeing practitioner says, okay, I'll do that for you. Can you do something similar for me? So it's, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back type of thing. Or it might be they say, yeah, that's fine. You might offer them some sort of financial incentive. It could be along the lines of, for every consultation I get, I'll give you X amount of pounds. Or it might be for everyone that signs up for my training, I'll give you X amount of pounds. And you can decide how you're going to work that out for yourself. And the final thing I want to talk about in terms of a presentation is I'm going to call this scale. And what do I mean by that? So if you've had a presentation that you've delivered and you've converted people into paying clients from that presentation, then why not consider delivering that maybe online, where you can actually capture more people potentially, because people don't have to travel anywhere. So that's one thing you can think about. If that works, then maybe think about actually recording the presentation and making it available again to maybe your joint venture partners who can promote the talk, or you could go and market it yourself. Doing it that way means you've now got an asset out there that you know works because you've done it live, you've converted people into paying clients. Maybe you've done it online, you've converted people into paying clients. So why not take the next step and actually record it as a webinar stroke presentation so people can access that in their own time. And who knows, you might start getting clients that way. In fact, one of the clients that I got, or a number of clients, I think of one in particular, just pops into my head, a lady called Helen. That's exactly how she started working with me. She watched a webinar that I'd recorded, put online, got in contact with me, and did incredibly well in terms of a weight loss. So that's a simple structure of getting clients without the need for social media. If you need any help at all with your own business, click the link in the description. I do offer a free strategy call where we can talk about things like this, or we can talk about things like how to create a high ticket offer in your business if you don't already have one. We can talk about how you're currently attracting clients, for example, go into more detail on this, or we can talk about how you're actually getting clients results in terms of your retention mechanism. Have you got a high ticket offer? So anything to do with business in terms of building a successful PT business, that's what we can talk about in the free strategy call. Until then, take very good care. Bye for now.